Hey, it's Kendra and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I did a mural in my office and how I use my iPad to plan that out. So this originally was what I was going to do for the mural in my office, just more of like abstract shapes, but then I decided I wanted something more quote-unquote realistic, even though this is kind of like cartoonish mountains. So this is what I came up with, so I will show you guys how I drew that out. And I did decide to switch the sun and the moon because Alex made a good point that the shadows didn't make any sense, and then it just turned out in the actual office that the moon fit better in the lower right hand corner. Anyway, I switched them around. So to start off, I did the background as close as I could to my office color, which is like a pale pink. And basically I'm just starting out with these big blue mountains first on the first layer. Pretty simple. I just did 2 shades of blue. I wanted to keep these mountains pretty simple, so I just decided to do 2 different shades for each color. So I did a blue mountain and like a pinkish maroon mountain for the 2 different colors. I find for mural paintings, it's a lot easier to put each element on its own layer, so you can move it around a lot easier. You can just hit the select tool on the layer in and move the mountains around or whatever you're doing for your mural. And this is also just a great Procreate tip in general. It's a lot better to have multiple layers rather than only have one and trying to kind of select different elements to move. So try doing different layers. I ended up playing around with the mountain placement, like which one was in front of the other. So yeah, that was a lot easier to do when they were on different layers, and also for the sun and the moon, so you can switch that around a lot easier. So this is the mural I chose. I wanted to keep it simple since this is my first big mural, so I thought this would be very achievable. So let's move on to actually doing the mural. I decided to outline each mountain with a thinner paintbrush so then it was easier to fill it in with a larger paintbrush. Alex did help me with this first section and he will argue that it's the best, so let me know in the comments what you think. I'm really glad that I outlined it first. I think it made it go by quicker, just being able to kind of slap down the background with a larger paintbrush and not have to worry about the outline. So I just kind of outlined it and painted in sections as I went, so other sections would be dry so I could paint the darker color, and this was really helpful. So that's what I did. That was my plan for the whole mural. This did take probably about 4 hours. I did split it up into 2 different days, so I did the sun and the moon the next day after the mountains were all dry, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I just played some music and did the mural, and yeah, I mean, I used Bear paint from Home Depot. I just like wall paint. I was going to do acrylic, but I decided to do the wall paint because it was cheaper and you can get a lot more for a lot less, and they have a lot of different color options. So I just brought in all my samples and held them up together and just made sure that everything went together. So I'll be doing a yellow couch in here, and I thought the blues and pinks would look really nice with that. The nice thing about this paint was I only had to do 1 layer, so I really didn't want to have to do a second layer after everything was dried and try to make the edges all nice and crisp again. So I just did 1 layer, and I did have to touch up a few places where there were some spots of the light pink still showing through, but nothing major. So yeah, I was very happy that it dried really nicely just with 1 coat. For the sun and the moon, I used the same trick as I did with the arch in my previous video. I tied a piece of string to a pencil and then just held the end of the string in the center and drew around it with the string tight to make a circle with the pencil. So I just did this really slowly, and then the circle turns out pretty well, and then I just traced it with the paint and filled it in. And after I filled in the sun, I decided to do some rays with some longer and shorter lines, just in varying lengths. I can't really see it too well from here, but I'll do a little close-up later. I did the same thing with the moon, just traced a semicircle. It was actually probably like 75% closed, and then traced it in the center again to make a little crescent moon. Alright, well there you have it. That is how I painted the mural in my office and how I used my iPad to plan it. Let me know in the comments down below if you've painted a mural in your house and how you like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.